Good evening and welcome to a slightly different episode tonight. So we normally do our main podcast on a Tuesday evening, but given the game, what's funny?
I'm Luke eating away there, munching away, not a bother on him.
Fine. All right, not an issue.
Time is of the essence, mate. I'm
yeah.
today.
Oh no,
Careful,
no,
Luke. We don't want anyone leaving bad reviews about stuff.
Low blow, that Jay.
Yeah, a little bit.
So given the Leicester games on a Tuesday night, we've pulled this one forward, so we're doing the main podcast tonight, and the current plan is to do the Berardi and Coke after match podcast on Wednesday. So we'll get an intro going and we'll get into this one.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds eating bastard. Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No. You utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Nothing spectacular, really. I think, we joked about it on the last podcast, but it's all gone south since I made that intro, and none of it's been spectacular, really.
Do we need a
new
one?
Bit of a theme, isn't it? It's a theme.
I got a bit of stick when I mentioned that on the last podcast, so maybe we need to have a look at a new one. Jay, I'll come to you first. How are we doing?
Yeah, well, considering I'm all right. Got over it now.
Karl, you okay?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Sure. Plow on to tomorrow night and see what happens.
And Luke, eating your tea. How are we doing?
Yeah, spot on, mate. Do you know what I've just noticed as well? Like, with Jay with his hat on backwards like that and Karl underneath him. Do you remember the films, Jay and Silent Bob?
Yeah.
They could be Jay and Silent Bob.
No.
Oh man, I don't have the long hair for it anymore, though. That's the problem.
No. If you hadn't had your haircut and you just kept your perm,
Yeah. Had I kept me Audrey trim on, I'd have been all right.
We can sometimes be found stood outside places smoking, so.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, so before we get into it, I'm going to see. This could go one of two ways, but we're going to see how positive or negative this is. I'm going to put you on the spot. Before we get into it, Jay, are we staying up?
Oh God. I'm going to say yeah, but I don't know why. I just can't.
Okay.
I can't say no.
No, I'm not after logic. I'm just after feeling at the moment. Karl, where are you feeling? Are we staying up?
Yeah, I think we're staying up. Yeah, like to put it into perspective, look at the way the weekend's results went, and we're still in 16th. You know what I mean? No matter how the results went on the weekend, we're still in 16th. So yeah, I think we're staying up.
Luke,
my heart says yeah, and I think we've got it in us. It all depends on tomorrow.
It does. Ask us all that again on B and C, and it might be a very different.
As we stand now, I think as we stand now, because I feel we'll beat Leicester, I think we will stay up.
Okay,
it's still in our hands.
Yep, very much.
It is
very much.
It is. That's what worries me. I don't think we are. So I'm avoiding it being a clean sweep because I don't think we are. I've not seen enough in them last few games to be confident of us staying up. So, I'll be the odd one out. And
all right.
People in the comments, you can give me some shit over it. That's absolutely fine. But
You're the outlier.
Gilly, do you mind me asking? Then, before we do get into it, what do you think the other teams below us have got to be able to make the points difference up and get more points than us?
I think when you look at the table, and Everton and Leicester are only 1 point behind us, and we'll get into the Leicester stuff, but I think if you look at their front line, I think they're going to hurt us, and that's a massive, massive game tomorrow. And that when you look at Everton and Dyche, he's not really had the impact that they were looking for, but I just feel like, I feel like they're going to find a way to get themselves out of it. and I don't see us. And it might just be the cynical Leeds fan. We've been burnt so many times by the club that we love. We've got a toxic relationship with the club, with the league, with the board, with the lot. So it might just be related to that. But yeah, that's kind of why my head's where it is on that.
There's not a lot of positivity around anywhere at the moment, is there? Anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It's very
general life, you mean?
No. I mean, surrounding Leeds, and yeah, pretty much your life, because my life revolves. I mean, it doesn't. My life doesn't actually, but I would certainly say my mood revolves around the Leeds United result, and hope and everything else that goes with it. So I just see a lot of negative. Even I'm being negative, and I'm like a renowned happy clapping seal. And even I thought of that song the other day, because McKennie and Aronson have been crap, and you know, it was just a bit of light-heartedness trying to keep, you know, but there's no positivity. Like, usually you've got a section of fans on social media that have got, you know, positives to take out of something, but there's not been any to take from anywhere.
Yeah, and I think that's fair.
It's hard. It's getting harder and harder to find them positives, isn't it? But I don't know. It's a difficult one now at the moment. Gilly, I understand your point as to why you think it is, and then I can listen to Luke and be like, right, Jesse, there's some positives from it, and Jesus, it's like, it's a horrible relationship to be in. Like, so I always like to try and find the best in everything. So I'm not a happy clapper by any means, but I just think there's no point in giving up. Like, you know, fuck it.
I mean, the one thing that we can say is we're not Spurs. Yeah, there's a positive.
yeah, that is true.
I mean, at least we're not pretending like we're going to do something good and then just destroying all the fans at the last third of the season. I'll tell you what, though, despite what I just said, that we'll stay up. The thing I'm most worried about, and this contradicts it completely, I know it doesn't sound sensible, but what else do you expect? But it's just the other teams around us, like you say, Deitch and Everton will find a way and stuff like that. Nobody else looks like they've completely given up and fallen apart as far as being a team goes, but we do. That's what I'm most worried about. They all look like they're still a unit, they're still together, they're still fighting to get out of it, and we just don't look like we've got any.
Do they though, Jay? Do we watch enough of them to actually think that, or is it because we've got a natural bias towards our club? We watch every minute of every game of our club, and we know what our expectations are. Is it an unconscious bias?
Maybe, but look at Bournemouth; they're picking up wins.
They've just been hammered by 6 goals, 5 goals, whatever.
Just won a game. They just won a game as well.
The weekend.
Well, it might be a game before that, but they won a game in last 1 or 2.
Yeah, they beat.
We don't look like winning anything at the moment. That's
they got battered at home by West Ham, didn't they?
Yeah,
West Ham,
and they really did get hammered. Goals. Yeah,
hammered. Hey,
look how well they did against Arsenal 2 games ago. You know, the teams like that are fighting.
No, I completely agree, but I also believe that they're not as good as we're giving them credit for. I mean, sorry, they're not. Yeah, they're not as good as we're potentially giving them credit for.
There's a reason. There's a reason. There's fight and spirit left in them.
There's a reason that they're lower than us in the league at this stage of the season, and that's because we've been better over the course of the season. All we've got to do is be better for the smallest part of the season, 6 games.
Do we look better than anyone else to you though at the moment?
I thought we were a lot better against Fulham than we were in the previous game. I don't think we were good against Fulham by any stretch. Don't quote me on this.
It'd be hard to be worse than the previous games.
No, exactly. But I definitely saw improvement. And look, a lot of this is on the players. It's not on anybody else really. Gracia for motivation and everything. But yeah, but a lot of the last game has got to be on the players. Simple things. But I did see a better performance. I expected Fulham to do if Palace can do what they did to us at home, I expect Fulham a better side than Palace. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And away from home in London, we didn't get as dominated. You know, there was a few opportunities for us to score. We had our chances. We've just got to let the reins off against Leicester.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. You can't be cautious now at this point. Not for me.
I think 3 at the back has to be the way to go tomorrow night.
Right,
really?
we'll get into that one. I think before we focus on the game, I think in terms of the point you were making there, Luke, is I think it was Jermaine Jennings that was doing the commentary, and I don't like bigging him up in any way because he's a knob. But he pointed out that actually Fulham were there for the taking because they were coasting, and it did feel like they were coasting. It didn't feel like they had to do all that much against us to be able to get a result. And I think that's what really concerns me is sides can turn up. You know, somebody said on Twitter, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that Man City aren't going to be looking forward to be playing us around their European fixtures. It's going to be an easy ride for them. This is not Bielsa's Leeds. There, people fear playing against us because
like
we're running into
ground
the ground
game for him.
Yeah. So that element of God, we've got Leeds next. That's gone. It's just gone. And I think we mentioned Bournemouth. They got absolutely pumped. I don't think anybody saw that West Ham result coming because Bournemouth were at home. West Ham have been poor home and away, but then they got the win in Europe, and you're thinking maybe they've just carried that into the league form. But before that, I mean, we joked, or I joked about us not being Spurs. Bournemouth beat Spurs at Spurs. The loss to Brighton, which is, Brighton have played well this season. They beat Fulham. We couldn't do that. So I think if you look at Bournemouth's form, it's been decent, and they were looking like they were in danger, and they've leapfrogged us and they've gone above us. And I think if we'd have shown anything like what they've shown in those games. We haven't beaten those sides that they've beaten. We didn't beat Spurs. We didn't beat Fulham, and they have. I think it comes down to the. I feel almost like they've got themselves out of it. 4 or 5 points clear of the bottom three. But there's 5-6 clubs behind them now. You can't see all of those clubs putting wins together. I think that's where my head's at. I think. If we look at the game that's gone then, so Smarty and I were on the BNC and we've had an opportunity to talk about it. If we focus on the actual overall feeling about the game, Luke, we weren't hammered by any stretch. There was one goal in it. Did you feel that we did enough to get anything out of it?
I think a draw would have probably been a fair result for me. I partly disagree on this. Fulham being on the beach and not putting a performance in that first 10 or 15 minutes. There's some tasty tackles going in from Fulham and from Leeds. It was a committed first 15-20 minutes from both sides, and I felt on the balance of the game. Harry Wilson scores. He misses that 9 times out of 10. It's a difficult chance. Meslier does better, and it's a different game. I felt we had the better chances. In fairness, so on balance, I think probably a draw would have been fair. I think we had the better chance. I don't think we had played the better football. I don't think either team played very well. But all this about being on the beach, I think it's a bit of a myth and a bit of a rumor, to be honest. They're professional footballers. At the end of the day, they've still got a chance of getting into Europe as well if they push. It's I don't know. Obviously, Mitrovic was missing, but each time he's played as this season, he's been relatively quiet. I think Koch, your favourite player, has marked him out of the game, I thought they caused us a few troubles, but I didn't think they were. Where are they in the league? Are they about bang on mid-table, about 10th?
I think they're better than that, aren't they? Let me have a look. They're 9th at the moment. They're 9th. So I don't know what they were going into the game, to be fair, but yeah, they're 9th at the moment.
So they didn't look a team that was playing at home against a team in a relegation battle. We matched them with a relatively makeshift side. Cooper came back in, looked all right, and I think we missed him and missed his leadership and Warbers as well, and that told. We looked a little bit more organised. There was still, the midfield needs sorting out. Rocker and McKennie just simply doesn't work. It's shown. McKennie's had his chance now for me. It's time to give somebody else an opportunity. He's not warranted any of this excitement or anything that our American 29 who came on here and told us that we were going to see. We've seen it. I'd probably say we've seen it against Forest and against Scum away as the only two performances I would give him credit for. I think every single other game he's had for us, he's been average or below, and that's not what you want from a £33 million USA international midfielder that everyone's excited about. Not for me, that.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So just a question back to you then. McKennie comes out of the midfield. Who do you bring in? Are you Forshaw? Are you JB? Are you Gray? Where are you going?
Adam Forshaw for me. Cool, calm, collected head. He's been there, done it before. If we can keep him fit, I think he might just have enough to get us over the line in midfield. He's probably like for like the most similar player to Adams that we've got.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think if you reflect on last season when Phillips was injured and Forshaw came back for that little period when we really, really needed him, and then he got injured again, just as some other players came back. He was massive for us, wasn't he? So
he's very, very good on the ball. He very rarely gives the ball away. He never plays a Hollywood pass. It's always a 5-yard pass, but he finds his man. He works hard defensively. The difficulty is he's very slow. He gets turned very easily. Now Rocker's very slow and gets turned very easily. So it does sort of put a question mark there. I'd be tempted to play a completely new shape against Leicester. They'll be preparing for same old Leeds, 4-2-3-1. We'll pretty much know what Leeds are going to be putting out. I'd play something completely different, either like Karl said earlier, 5 at the back, or even something completely wild and even
just play Werber on his own.
Yeah.
Put Cooper on wing because he did well getting that cross in, and everybody else up front.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Can't be any worse.
Karl, I'll come to you next. On reflection in the game, was there anybody that stood out for you from a Leeds perspective that did play well enough to stand out among the rest?
The Cooper for me was probably the most solid player we had in there. I don't think there was really anyone else that. Like, I thought Koch played well. I know if you're battle running there with Koch, Gilly, and all that, but I thought he's done all right. And like we previously said, when he's put in beside a player who can kind of, talking through the game, we all thought he would look more solid there. So it seems to have worked by putting Cooper in there. I don't know when we're going to give up on this Christensen crack. He's not a footballer.
But just before we go on to Rasmus, don't you think it's mental that we're talking about an international footballer needing his hand held through a game?
Yeah, it is a little bit.
Cooper over there to manage him through the entire game. I think that's insane. And a lot of the shit that I get when I give it, because I am hard on him, but that's because I don't think he's good enough. I am. But that's because I don't think he's good enough. But a lot of what I get is, it looks good when he's played against somebody that's going to tell him where to be and where to run and how to play. But surely that shouldn't be required.
Okay, well, maybe talking him through the game is a bad thing to say. Maybe it's more...
No, but you're right. That is what's needed.
But it maybe having someone as capable as Cooper beside him gives him the freedom to just do what he needs to do without having to be talked through the game because he knows where he needs to be, perhaps. Maybe there's either side of it. Like, I can understand why you'd say that, Gilly, all right, about an international defender needing talking through a game, but maybe it's more he feels he can play his game a little bit more confidently with another competent centre-back beside him, perhaps.
Okay. What I'll throw back to you there is Llorente never got that space.
Yeah, but Llorente was shit, Gilly, and you need to sort that out, man. You can say what you want about Koch. He's not better than Koch.
Llorente's not better than Koch.
He is not.
There's no way.
That's why he's going to be playing in Champions League next season.
We loaned him out because he's our best centre-back. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
We don't have our best centre-back.
I said he were better than our 6th choice centre-back.
Oh, no way.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
In the comments then, Llorente or Koch?
Yeah.
In the comments.
So you were going to mention about Rasmus.
Yeah, that first goal that went down his side, he was playing inside the 18-yard box lines, and he didn't go and cover the right player. Now, when you look at the replay, it's glaringly obvious that he's not reading the game correctly, and you kind of look at it and go, for all of Ayling's failings.
That's going to come back, isn't
it? I think he's a far better option than putting Rasmus in there anymore. I can't watch Rasmus try and defend when he can't. I'm not like I can't do it. I can't watch it anymore. Cock over your head, Cock. Well, there you go. But yeah, I can't. What's that? Rasmus has been a big.
No, not that one.
What?
Glossed over that one a little bit.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Karl, as you were.
Leave that in the comments. But yeah, no, I'd rather see Ayling come back in or something or other, or go with the bullshit. None of them, yeah. Or go with some form of formation where we can incorporate the likes of Harrison or something as a more defensive wing back or something. And I don't know. I need Rasmus out of that team. Like he's a fucking nightmare to watch.
Just on Rasmus, are we being overly harsh on Rasmus? He's been taught to play the Red Bull way all his professional career, pretty much. He came under Jesse Marsh. This is alien to him. This is absolutely alien. I don't know how he plays for the national team. I don't watch Denmark. I don't know. So. Are we expected to? I mean, we paid money for him. We paid a fair bit of money to bring him in to fit Jesse Marsh's system. He didn't really work that well in that. So are we being harsh, or is he actually just shy?
Just shy.
I don't think he's.
Andy said there, William had him on toast. He absolutely did.
Yeah.
Every time he got the ball, you could see.
And he's about 45.
William's a Brazilian international. Brazilian's a Brazilian.
There you go. That's got to come back to haunt us.
It's not. Look, if you look in the league, the best players in the league all play left wing. The majority for most teams. You pick your best player from most clubs, and they're all left wingers or out there. Even coming up this weekend, tomorrow night, Harvey Barnes is their best player. Where does he play? Left wing. Our right backs are poor defensively, both of them. But Rasmus is better than Ayling defensively.
I think Ayling reads the game better
every time he tries to win a header.
So the point I was going to make is that I think over the time with us, Ayling's shown better, but actually in recent fixtures, he's been bullied at back post. He's absolutely been bullied, and he's got nowhere near any of the headers. You look at those early Palace goals, and he's being beat in the air by a player that's 3-4 inches shorter than he is, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Coleslaw on toast has just remembered the joke from last week that Karl said. So Karl thought Arnautovic was unavailable for Fulham for those that tuned in. Coleslaw on toast said we weren't great on Saturday, but at least we managed to keep Arnautovic quiet. That's because he never played for him.
I appreciate that, Coleslaw on toast. Thanks.
Did anyone else think watching that game that we'd gone there for a point? Because I felt like we had, and I didn't agree with that. I know we've had some shit results, so some people might say, oh, well, you can't, moan about that. It's in London, blah, blah, blah. But as we said before, they weren't amazing, and they were there to be beat. And I think even if you had gone and set up that way, surely 15, 20 minutes in, you say, right, let's start getting into these. We're actually, we could come out of this on top. I can understand maybe after that run of results going there and saying, right, let's just be solid, lads. We don't have to do anything spectacular. Let's just get back on points. But for me, watching that game, it was like we played for a point the entire time. We never tried to get into them. I don't know if anybody else thought that or not, but
I think I think absolutely right. I think when you're playing against a team that on merit are in the top half of the table over the season, away from home, when you're in a relegation battle, I think to go down there and expect to play for anything more than a point would be stupid.
And it's also in London, where famously we never get anything unless it's Brentford. for some reason at the tail end of the season.
I mean, I'm probably being a little bit harsh there. I don't what I mean is every football team wants to win and every manager wants to win, but you've got to show some respect to the league table, and you have to do simply. If we went down there and played like we did against Liverpool or against Palace in the second half, against Arsenal, we would have come away with the same result.
Oh yeah, but I don't feel like there were enough sort of changes in the game.
Even though we played for
when it was clear that they weren't really pushing at us that hard. I just feel like there should have been some sort of change. It worries me that like one of the things I like about Grazia is he does have a plan tailored to the opposition, but he doesn't seem great at altering that plan during the game. Like some of the subs recently.
But coming into the season when we stay up by one goal, and that goal would have been away at Fulham. Because we played defensively.
Well, the man will be a genius then, Luke. But you know that's how it works, isn't it?
I mean, I say it a little bit tongue in cheek when I say you've got to give the league table respect. We're coming up to the arse end of the season. You know, it's the business end of the season. Fulham have had a good season, and there's no denying it. They've had a good season, and if I know as Leeds fans, we are optimistic, and we're almost expectant that our team should be playing for a win week in, week out, because that's what we used under Bielsa. And I just think that we as fans find it. I mean, every football fan, every club probably finds it hard to adjust and you know to change that expectance that actually the squad we've got isn't competitive with your top half teams this season with their particular managers and everything else. So when I say respectful, I don't mean necessarily go down there and treat the opposition with respect. I mean, you've got to look at the table and actually pick your battles. Our battles are tomorrow night and at the weekend.
I agree with that.
Being realistic about league placing.
There's just things about that game that just didn't sit right with me. As I say, changes were too late. I found it really, really strange that neither Cini nor Willie started the game, and I thought that were very odd.
Cini started, didn't he?
No, Cini came on.
So Summerville and Harrison won it. Sorry.
Yeah. And I thought that were a bit naive. I thought that were a bit naive from him, and I just when I looked at the team on paper, I just thought we aren't going there to attack. We're not. And that just left me a bit disappointed.
But then you look at that team he put out against Brighton. We all looked at each other and went, "What the fuck?" And he managed to grind out a point.
That's true. No? That's
Rasmus in midfield. I mean,
and when it works, you're a genius. But when it doesn't, you'll get picked apart, and that's just the way of it.
Well, a man with new ideas is a madman until his ideas triumph. We know that.
Exactly.
but yeah, I mean, we spoke at the start of the podcast about who we would put in midfield if you're going to drop McKennie. Nobody mentioned Rasmus, and actually he played quite well. So yeah, who knows? I just want to reflect on what you're saying in terms of the squad and the season. I know that we've got the benefit of hindsight, but I just wanted to reflect on something that was said by a senior member of the staff at Leeds United at the start of the season in an interview with Ornstein and Phil Hay for The Athletic. Was this year, in my opinion, we've done a great job in the market. We have a very competitive team. The target I set is between 10th to 14th position. If we're lucky, we're close to 10th. If we aren't lucky, we are 15th. But I think we are in that range. I don't want to have any more heart attack risk. I don't have any doubt that we'll avoid a situation similar to last season. It's impossible. Can we all just agree on one thing, and that's that he's a knob?
Absolutely.
We are only one place off that 15th, but he is a knob to even think of saying something like that in an interview at the start of a season.
It's like,
I mean, I suppose for me, I felt that we had signed pretty well, and I expected a lot more from some of these players.
I think we all did, Luke.
Yeah,
and I think it was done. And I think had Adams avoided injury, I think we might be a little bit more comfortable now. Yeah.
That fucking international break.
Well, yeah, but if you reflect on those fixtures specifically against Palace and Liverpool, we don't get it like that if Adams and Verber are on the pitch.
No.
Yeah.
I'm really supremely confident that's the case. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not actually saying that is too far wrong in terms of, he said if we're unlucky, we'll be 15th, or we're 16th. We're only one position off that. I'm just pointing out that he's a knob.
Yeah.
So
but if you do watch this and want to get us in to talk to or anything, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, give us a shout. We're very open.
We'll do an Ornstein here. Who can do a Scottish accent?
I'm not even going to attempt it.
I can, but I'm not going to.
Apparently, I'm already Scottish.
Carl struggles with an Irish accent.
Well, apparently I'm Scottish anyway, according to the comments sometimes. So, right.
Okay, so we've talked about the prior, so we can look forward now. So I don't know if anybody's had an opportunity to look at the outcomes from the media discussions that have been had today from a Leicester and from a Leeds perspective. So in terms of injury news, I think we always see Gracia now keeping his cards close to his chest. He does not give anything away when it comes to injuries and players available. We know that Cooper and Verba didn't train yesterday, but we don't know if they're going to be available for the game or not. It does very much look like Barnes, Vardy and Maddison. And I think Maddison's probably Leicester's best player rather than Barnes, Luke, but I can see why you'd say Barnes, given that he scored 8 in 7 or something mad against us. It looks like all of their main front three are going to be available against us. So there's a thing. So let's get into the game then. So Jay, I'm going to come to you. We're talking formations, we're talking lineups. Luke's already alluded to the fact that he'd make some major changes just to try and potentially, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but shake things up and just not be as predictable as we've been. Where's your head on the formation and the lineup? Let's not get into the personnel that we think are going to play, but if you can say a couple of main changes that you'd make and what formation you'd be going for.
I think I'd be very tempted to try a 4-4-2 just to see something different.
Brexit football.
4-4-2. Not quite. No, not quite. Not that kind of 4-4-2. But yeah, we could do something radical like chuck Rooter in from the start with somebody else up front and see what he does. Maybe him and Willie, little and large, get them up front and let them be a double act. But I'd probably go for something like that. I want to talk about who I'd get out of the team, but you said not to go too into it. But Aronson and McKennie have got to not be in that side for me, regardless. Both fucking useless.
Just on the formation, I saw a comment earlier that I starred, and I don't think this is a bad idea. With regards to there we go. Would you put McKennie in for Aronson and play Forshaw at DM?
I don't think he's got the legs, has he? He doesn't seem to have the fitness to be able to do that job. Yeah.
I've not seen anything from McKennie that makes me want to see him on the pitch anywhere.
I think I completely agree. But I mean, you look at his performances for Juve and when he played it, was it Wolfsburg? I think before when we've seen these highlights reels, when he's got that freedom to go forward, he's scored some belting goals and he's got it in his locker. But if he's not willing to put those. I mean, it can't be any worse than Aronson unless he doesn't run as much, is what I'm saying, I think.
Well, he ain't going to get pushed off at ball, is he?
No. And I think for me, if he had a bit of a free role in the middle of the park, back and forward, maybe a little bit deeper even than Aronson, would we maybe see a little bit more from him? I don't know. Is it a game you'd put that to testing? It's probably not. We want to go there and we want to win 3 points ultimately. But that's what sort of frightens me with Gracia changing too much. I don't think he will, because it's not the type of game. If you were going to try anything new, you'd do it in Liverpool or in the second half when you're already getting hammered. Try something new and just see how it works. Now you set up to go and do it in a game against relegation rivals could be absolute suicide, but it could be an absolute masterstroke. It's literally a flip of a coin.
Yeah. I like you going for the redemption arc there for McKennie. From zero to hero, gets moved further forward, suddenly comes to life. Scores goals and saves our season.
The opposite of
last
Phillips.
day of season is on
mirror
pitch.
image.
Yeah,
Phillips further back and he
got
becomes
his USA flag around him. Fans are chanting USA.
Something needs to give. I think the only thing I would be concerned about when bringing Aronson out of the team, and I know everybody wants to start Warburton and Somerville because they're our most exciting players. They can make something happen of nothing. But you watch them; they're lazy as fucking defense.
Sorry, did you mean Willie?
Sorry, Willie. Willie Nonto and Somerville, and there are most attacking, fluent, naturally good players that can make anything happen. But you watch them defensively, and they are bone idle, both of them.
Yeah, I think that's what we said before, in it, about if you're going to play the two of them and not have Jack Harrison in the team, you lose a lot of coverage of him working back,
which we need.
Yeah, which we need. I think one of the things that we did say on the B&C as we looked towards this was there is a potential because it's likely that he's going to stick with Koch. So if you play Koch and Cooper at centre back, you do have the option of bringing Firpo back in if he's not injured, and putting Verber in the DM.
Yeah,
and if you've got Verber and Forshaw in at DM and McKennie in front of them, maybe that it'd certainly be a platform of a lot more solidity with Verber and
I'd just be happy if Verber's somewhere on the pitch involved in the defensive side of our game. I'll be happy with that.
And it does need both Verber and Cooper to be available in order to be able to have that option, which that's a question mark as it is at the moment anyway.
Jamie says,
yeah, and I think
go on, Karl. Cut me there.
I cut you.
You did, man.
Go on.
Yeah. Chill out,
McKennie, you can't polish a turd. You can only roll it in glitter. But hey, if it sparkles for a few weeks, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Karl, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Who plays in net?
Oh, I think Meslier still plays in net. Like I've said, it's as much about he's the most he's faced the most shots in the Premier League this season, and it's about the defence in front of him as much as it is his contribution with certain elements of his game. And I think he stays in. I personally think he stays in. If it's going to be Cooper in front of him with Koch again, and Verber, say, like you said, in the DM role with Forshaw, then I think he has to stay in. He has to.
He should sit and watch the Alamo this week for his pre-match prep.
Yeah, well, I think they all should really yeah, it'd be nice.
Football. It's that one that it reminds me of.
I think having Verber in the middle of the park would be quite good because we've seen that he can spray the ball quite well. He's got a good range of passing on him, and to have him in there, maybe Forshaw breaking it up a bit and slowing the game down when needs to, because he is quite good at that. Forshaw, when he gets on the ball, he's an intelligent footballer where he can look at the situation and go, right, we need to slow it down here, or he plays the ball forward quickly when he knows there's something on. And I think having someone like that there beside Verber perhaps would really sort of shore up the middle of the park. And if you've got the likes of Jackie on one side, and then would you start Cine on the other?
Well, I think
for defensive duties.
I think if you start Jackie, you have a license to play somebody a little lazier on the other side, whoever it may be. So whether that be Somerville or Nonto, I think you have that license. Just on Mesley, it goes back to me saying about making too many changes and shaking the team up. Whilst I think he needs a break, do you want to change stuff up that drastically for a relegation rival battle? Robles has done nothing to not warrant a start. Every time I've seen him, he's looked pretty good when he's played in the cup.
Done all right, yeah.
He's not looked bad. So whilst I think Robles probably should come in and give Mesley a break for his own good as much as ours, because I don't think his confidence is high. You could see that when he's muttering under his breath when he's made a mistake, and I think sometimes it's a very big call to make if you're going to change your keeper at this stage of a season. It's almost they're a pivotal part of every squad, so it would be a big call, massive call. I would probably make it, but I'm not getting paid the big bucks.
No, that's fair. But I think the thing for me is you look at the side and you look at the leadership in that team, and without Verber, without Cooper, we were struggling for leadership. I think if you were going to change it, you'd probably have changed it before now, and taken him out of the firing line, but also had somebody with more experience in the back line. But you'd have had that in the keeper rather than in centre back. So I don't expect he will. I would just have their opinions on whether we would. I think I probably would stick with Melia now if Cooper, Verber are available, because you do have that leadership in front of him. Whereas if they're both not available, I'd probably twist rather than stick and maybe put Robles in just for that bit of experience at the back.
I get that. Yeah.
So I think Melia still got a massive future, but it's the now. I think that there's been a lot of talk about Ruta. I know that you guys touched on it. I think last week on the main pod about looks like he might be a really good player in future, but is the right player for the now? There's a lot of that. I think there's been a lot of that strategy.
I think the same about Aronson.
Yeah.
I think Aronson will be a good footballer.
But you could say the same for I think probably all of us on the podcast when Melia were playing for Bielsa was, we're playing high risk, high reward football, and we're also playing it with a young up and coming keeper that we know is going to make mistakes through the course of a season, but actually the benefits outweigh the negatives. I think we're still in that sort of position because he's still under 23, which is 7 to 10 years from his peak as a keeper. Yeah. He's a long way off his peak as a keeper. But Skip makes a really good point. Is why have a number 2 keeper if we're not willing to use him when we think he's needed? But I would have changed before now. I think I would have started. Well, my lineup that I gave before the Fulham game was with Robles in it. But yeah, I think that the leadership piece is important. So I did say we'll avoid it, but we'll get into it now then. So in terms of lineups, let's see if we can get one together. So we've already spoken about the keeper. I think if we say that the people that have played in the last game are fit, let's assume that Cooper and Verber are available. I think we're mostly saying that we're going to start Melia. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Luke's just popped off, but I think he'd said the same. So bearing in mind those people being available and Firpo was on the bench, so let's say he's available. Jay, I'll come to you first. Who's your left back?
Firpo for me.
Yeah, he's done enough.
Yeah, I think so, and it's certainly not been any worse than anyone else recently.
Yeah. Karl, who's your left back?
Yeah, Firpo for me as well. Like he's proven that when we do get on the ascendancy, he's good going forward as well as he is kind of breaking his bollocks to get back now as well. Like you can see it, the effort is there. Like so, I think Firpo for me.
Okay, Luke, you can.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was unfortunate to lose his place at the weekend. To be fair.
Yeah,
there was some talk. I think everybody went, "Oh, I wonder if he's got a knock," because people were surprised that he wasn't in the starting lineup. So, but we are making assumptions that players that were in the match day squad are fit and available. Yeah. So, if we make that assumption, then Firpo's in. Left sided. So mine's the same for both of them. Melia and Firpo.
Sorry, Cooper and Wober.
They're your centre back partnership. You're not thinking about pushing Verber further forward and playing Cock.
No, I'm playing Cock at right back.
Okay. Karl.
Jesus, like if we're going on who's still available, I wouldn't have gone with Cock at right back. I'd have gone with Christensen,
So we'll start off then. Who's your left centre back?
Cooper.
Right.
And then all right, okay, you're going around the table again.
Yeah. So Luke, I think you did say Cooper were your left centre back, didn't you? Yeah. Jay,
Cooper or Wober, whichever way around.
Verber.
You put in because I think he's more adaptable than Cooper, so I'm playing Cooper in his natural left centre back position. But I suppose it doesn't really matter which way around. So, is anybody going for any centre back that's not Cooper and Verber?
Yeah, I'm having Cock instead of Cooper. I don't think we need Verber and Cooper. I think one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you've been outvoted.
But okay. Oh no, it's not. Oh, hang on a minute. We've gone 50-50. It's all fucked.
No, I would have gone Cock there anyway, and push Verber up just for that little bit of extra security into the CDM role.
It's all fucked. This. We're not going to get to it. We're not going to get to
it. We've already fallen apart here.
Yeah. So Luke's gone Cock at right back. Karl, who's your right back?
Ayling, if he's fit. I can't trust Christensen. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
I think the only thing I would say on the right back is Ayling deserved to be dropped.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
And I don't think anybody would argue
and
with that.
Christian hasn't done anything for me to save that position. Now, if you remember towards the end of last season, Cook played right back. And he played really well. No, he didn't.
He
played really well.
Under ball. Constantly caught under ball.
At Brentford, he had an absolute stormer. Last game of the season, he played right back. Absolutely brilliant he was. In fact, I'll tell you what his ratings were.
Oh, God, there we go.
While you're looking that up, who's your right back?
Ayling's failings at right back for me, please.
So that's three of us gone for Ayling.
Same as Karl. I just can't trust Rasmus. Even though I know Ayling's probably going to make a mistake, I'd still pick him over Rasmus.
Okay.
6.2. The worst player other than Joffy in a Leeds shirt.
Fuck off. You should have kept your mouth shut there, man.
It must have been. It was one of the games. He had an absolute belting game at right back, and I've forgotten who it was. Was it Brighton?
Was it right centre back, perhaps?
Brighton. He was the highest rated defender we had, and he played right back.
On what?
On telly.
No, which site you're looking at?
Oh, and then we go back to Chelsea, and Rafinha played right wing back. So fucking hell.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, I tried putting that out of my mind.
Yeah, and his long
Taking
throws.
the long throws.
Yeah.
Ball ahead.
Moving on from that, I am assuming that we've gone 4-2-3-1 because that's likely what we're going to do. Even if we'd possibly change it, it's likely what we're going to do.
Yeah.
So left DM if we're playing a double pivot, Luke.
Rocker.
Now?
Verber.
Yeah.
I put. Yeah.
Hang on, what was that?
Left DM if we're playing a double pivot.
I'd probably put Rocker back in just because of what we have available to us.
Okay, and I'd go Rocker as well, so that's fair. That's 3 out of 4. Luke, who's next to him?
It depends how we're playing. So if we've got Cock in at the back, then Werber for me. If Cock's not playing and we've got Warber at the back, then I'm putting Forshaw at the side of him.
Okay, I'm saying Forshaw anyway. Jay?
I'm torn on this one. I'm really torn between Forshaw's sort of solidity and the fact that he can sort of find space, as we said before, and calm stuff down when needed, but also wanting someone a bit more dynamic in there. I'm really torn on that. I think
like McKennie.
Well, no, like Jarby.
Hopefully, like
JB.
Yeah.
I'd rather give him a try than McKennie. It's just I don't know anything about him, so I'd be picking him just based on.
He's a good ball carrier. He looks
better.
like he's got a decent passing range, but the thing is, we haven't seen enough of him in first team, have we?
We haven't seen him in a fight like this, so I'd probably go for Forshaw on the basis of experience.
Yeah.
So who we've got Rocca in there, and yeah, if Rocca's in there, then I'd probably. I don't know. Fucking.
I mean, you're outvoted anyway. He kind of let you know that he's Forshaw, regardless of what you say.
All right, well then, fuck it, yeah, Forshaw then.
I thought you were going to chuck Rasmus in there.
No, I chuck him out the door.
Yeah, the reason I went Forshaw is echoing what Luke said earlier in the pod. Is the closest thing that we've got to Adams, and when Rocker played alongside Adams, he played all right when he first came into team. So I'm looking for Rocker to get on the ball and make some passes with Forshaw being a foil for him and covering for him. I think Forshaw reads the game better than anybody that's in the midfield at the moment. I think Adams reads it well, but he's not available to us. So the fact that he can read the game means that he can provide that cover when it's needed as well. I think he's one of those that's got a knack of being in the right place at the right time whenever it's needed. So that's what I'm looking for. So potentially quite contentious then. But I'm going to ask for your number 10 first. So who plays through the middle in that role that Aronson's been in? Luke.
Sinistera.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to go Sinistera. I was torn between him and Willie, but yeah, I'm going to go Sinistera.
Okay. Karl, you saying any different?
I was going to say Willie in that number 10 role, just given that because Aronson's had that bit of freedom in there where, he's been allowed kind of float about the place. I think Willie in that position would be a lot more dangerous than Aronson plowing up the...
Absolutely.
I agree, but I don't think he works as hard enough.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. It'd be more dangerous than Aronson. I think if you look at that chance early on where Aronson were in he were in on the last man, wasn't he? He had the ball at his feet, were able to run at the last man and kind of just check back in, and it just fizzled out, even though it should have resulted in a chance because he bottled it. Whereas I think Willie makes that into at least a good chance. But I've been calling to see Cine at 10 for a while, and I'm not going to change that, especially when two people have already said it.
That's all right.
So we're going Cine in the 10. So if we've got Cine in the 10, with that context, Karl, I'm going to come straight back to you. I want both of your wingers, please, left and right.
Well, like we discussed earlier on, I think if you're going to try and play either Nanto or Somerville, then you have to have Jackie on the other side to kind of compensate for the defending side of things. So
I think Jimmy's probably better on the right and Willie's probably better on the left. So where are you putting Jackie? Which one are you picking?
I'm going to put Jackie on the right coming in onto his left. But and Willie on the other side. But I'd also like to see them every kind of 5-10 minutes swap wings as well and just give Leicester something to kind of think about. Every 2 or 3 kind of goal kicks or something like that, swap sides and just have them guessing the whole time.
Okay. Jay?
Same as what Karl said, to be fair.
And you'd go Jack at right as well?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Luke, are you saying any different?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think Somerville deserves his start. I don't think he played bad. I think he was our best player against Fulham. Deserves his start. I don't think Nonto's 100% fit still. So I'm starting with Jackie and Somerville.
So we've got Jackie in the side, but we split because I'm going Jimmy as well. I think if you look at his performance, was it Arsenal? I thought he was really unlucky to miss out on the next game as well. I thought he played well. He doesn't do enough in defence, but I think if you've got Jackie on the other side, and we're looking at having Forshaw and Rocker in the middle, especially with Cine that does get a bit more of that work done as well, I think. I think you can afford to have Jimmy, because I think even Willie does a bit more in defence than Jimmy does. But I think you can afford Jimmy if you've got that. So Jackie's definitely in, because with 4 of us have gone for him, but we split Willie or Jimmy.
I think if Willie was. I think if Willie was 100% fit, I don't think he is. I think he was in a boot only 2 weeks ago. I don't think he is 100% fit. I think if he was, there's no denying he's our best player technically and most exciting, and he's got that in his locker. But I just think for now, I think he's a better option off the bench, but a lot earlier.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We just had toss a coin. So I'm just going. This is from the Ellen Road Christmas do. That equaled a beer. So I'm just going to toss a coin.
You mean you didn't use it?
It's a beer. I had 2 at the bottom of my pocket. I were paying for beers at end because I didn't realise I still had them in my pocket because I was steaming.
Jesus Christ.
So we've gone Jimmy because that's the way that it went. And I'll only now show you. That actually it's
right.
Anyway.
So we'd have got our way anyway.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking hell.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Shades of Batman there, like.
and I think it's right to say that actually when we're talking about somebody coming off the bench, I think Willie's the most impactful sub that we've got anyway. If you want somebody to come on and make a difference in a tight game, then it's Willie you're looking for to free up that tightness.
You want them on after about 60 minutes, though. You don't want them on any later than that.
Even half time, potentially.
Yeah, well, I think 55
10,
for me. Give it 10 minutes and then get him on, and give him enough of a run at the game if it's still tight.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then it's a straight shootout up front with Ruter and with Joseph. Who are we going for up front? Karl, I'll come to you first. Perkins as well.
And Joseph.
Well, not both of them. We can only have one. Just because the young players don't mean you can pick them both. We've only got one place left.
So what about Paddy and Rod and bleeding hell, like fucking daft fuckers?
I've really confused him here, haven't I? So we've got Perkins and Joseph and Ruta and Paddy and Rod. Where are you going?
I go with Paddy for his hold-up play. I think he brings a lot of like the game against who was it against there? Is it Forest, where he was just getting kicked about the place, but he held the ball up for Jesus. It seemed like an eternity, but he got it in the middle of the park and ended up out wide, and then ended up bringing it back and holding on to it, and ended up getting it forward. And that's an element of our game that we need, because we don't break at the same pace as we did under Bielsa, where we had, like, you know, you could get Rodrigo playing straight off the last man, waiting for that ball because it was always going to come. But the way we break now isn't as quick. Well, it doesn't seem as quick. It looks like, you know, McKennie is running in. McKennie's running in treacle, and then it's, you know, there's other bits and bobs. But his hold-up play is very important to how we're playing at the moment. So for me, it has to be Patrick.
Okay, Jay, you saying any different?
Rodrigo. Bamford's driven me absolutely up the wall the last few weeks. So I think last game it were a bit like, oh, everyone's calling for Rodrigo, blah, blah. Came on and did fuck all. But he needs a chance to impress from the start for me. One last chance.
One last chance? What, you write him off after that?
Not permanently, just with the limited number of games we got left. I think give him a chance against a team that he should be capable of scoring against, and send him out there and see what he does. Put some pressure on him.
I mean, lest we forget, Bamford's had some real success against this side. But no, that's fair. I think, so, Luke, I'm going to come to you. So we've had a compelling argument around hold-up and general play, and then we've got somebody else that carries probably, I think it's fair to say, a more potent goal threat. Which one are you going for?
So I think this is going to be the type of game where we're going to need somebody to get into that back line in Sun Chu, and that, is it Phase or whatever it's called? Belgian or Dutch,
something like that.
Phase, yeah. And I think certainly for the first half, we're going to need somebody who's going to do that. You know, we know Rodrigo's got goals in him, but I think we're going to need to break him down. And I think the only player we've got that can do that at the moment is Paddy Bamford. I don't think his hold-up play is brilliant. I don't think he's the best striker in the world, but if I'm a centre-back, I would rather play against Rodrigo every day of the week. And Paddy, he gets it. Do you know what I mean? And if he's on his game, we've seen what he can do. His finishing's been poor recently, but for me, he is our best option. Certainly I would say even for the first 45, 50 minutes, and then look at potentially bringing Rodrigo on, let him run his ass off and put himself about them centre-back for the first half, tire him out. We know Paddy can score if he gets a chance when he's on form, when he's in form. So Rodrigo's got all the goals this season, granted, but I just feel Bamford will cause them far more issues. We've seen what Rodrigo does every time when a ball comes in the air. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. He tries running past, turning and running, gambling on the ball. This is Premier League football. I'm not going to miss an header. You're wasting your time. We want somebody in there who's going to tire them out. Somebody who's going to put the back into these centre backs, and do what Harry Kane does for Spurs, but just not as well, pretty much.
Man, that takes a lot out of a defender when you've got an attacker who's just backing into you the whole time. That'll wear you out after a while. At all, you know.
And it is his movement as well. It's not just his physicality; it's his movement as well. You know, they've got to be alive all of the time. And I think that's a fair point. Sorry, Luke, you're going to say?
No. I just feel dependent on what the score looks like. As to when we bring Rodrigo on. If we do need a goal when he's tied that defenders out, then bring him on. If it's working and we manage to go a goal or two up, leave him on.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So the lineup that we've got then. So we've got Melly in net, we've got Firpo at left back, we've got Ayling at right back, we've got Cooper, and I'm going to put Verba in there because I left that open because there were in and ahhing about where they were going to sit. We've got Rocker and Forshaw together in the middle. And in front of them, we've got Jackie, Sidney, Jimmy, left to right. And then we've got Paddy up front. So, on that basis, we come to the predictions for the Leicester game. And I got this wrong previously. But Jay, I can't remember if you were in the comments or not. You must have been, because I've got yours. I think so. You've gone 2-1 Leeds. I've also gone 2-1 Leeds. So that's first and second place in the. So I forgot Luke, and Jay just copied mine because I'm in second place. I forgot to do it in the order of, because we said that we were going to do the first and then second and then go down the league. So, Luke, what's your prediction for the Leicester game?
3-2 Leeds.
I'll tell you what, the comments are right positive at the moment. Got
Skill.
Leicester 3-1. Danny's saying Leicester 4-0. Coleslaw's giving it 4-2 Leicester. Very disappointed in you lot.
Okay, so we've already had a fans one. So Matt did join us. So Matt Leeds has just said has just been in the comments, but he did join us on the BNC, and he's gone 3-1 Leeds for the fans. Smarty's gone 2-1. I went 2-1. Jay went 2-1. Luke's now gone 3-2. Karl, it's on you.
No, I'm not doing that anymore. I didn't
Karl,
give a prediction for fun.
Exactly, and it didn't work.
Well, okay then. Yeah, okay. Fuck it. Whatever.
I actually don't, because last time you gave a prediction, we got beat 6-1. So yeah, fuck it. I prefer a 2-1 rather than a 6-1.
Oh, there you go. The pod has spoken. I just don't do it now.
The pod dodger is now a prediction dodger, Emma Holmes.
Prediction dodger.
Right, so what I'm going to do then, because I already had a fans prediction, so that I've got something alongside Karl's name, I'm going to take the first fans prediction, which was Skip with Leicester 3-1.
Okay,
so
that sounds good.
You get 3-1.
Oh, there you go.
Back to this crack again sound. I'll take that. No responsibility. Thanks, Skip.
And Smarty's been in the comments, but have we seen one from him while I've been capturing those? Oh, no, I've got Smarties. Yeah, no, never mind. I got Smarties. We've got 2-1 Leeds, so that's fine. And then I get the rest from the other lads. What? 6.
Emma Holmes has gone 6-0 Leeds.
Wow. That's like a big Lou prediction.
That is, yeah.
Lou's phone back. Right, okay. So just a couple of starred comments just to work through. Skip, I worry if we drop to the bottom 3, this team haven't got the fight or confidence to get us back out. I think the one thing that I would say with that is we only look shit when we're not in the bottom 3 at the start of play. And every time we have been, we've won. So actually, if we get into the bottom 3, that's the only way that we're going to get 3 points. What we need to do
less or something if they're in bottom 3.
We need to be in the bottom 3 going into kickoff on the final day, but with enough space that we can get out of it.
Fuck that, Gilly, man.
Jesus.
No, we really don't need that, because although
I can't go through a day like that again.
And especially now that we've laughed at Spurs, they're going to turn up and be prime Brazil, aren't they?
Of course they are. Everybody is when the players.
Yeah.
Just to let you know,
crackpot ref again, and VAR.
Just to let you know, we've only beaten Leicester once in 9 games against them.
Fantastic. Well, do you know what, Luke? Do you know what? They were good then, and now they're not. So let's hope that means things have shifted.
I mean, that is a fair point. This is the worst season they've had for a while as well. You know, if we're respecting league position, well, we're above them, so therefore we ought to beat them.
This is the worst one they've had since Ranieri got the boot.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's coaching them now?
Dean Smith has taken them over. Dean Smith and John Terry.
Dean Myth.
John Terry, the scumbag, is there as well.
Dean Myth.
So what we need to do is injure one of them and play on, yeah?
Yeah, fucking right.
Yeah,
and then when they start crying on the touchline, just give them the V's instead of a goal.
Yeah, right. Fuck Dean Smith.
Bollocks,
Paul Brennan's in the comments. Saints took the Gunners all the way for 90+ minutes and nearly won. Their players are still fighting. Fair. Paul Brennan again. Just hope Max Urban Coops are fit for tomorrow night. Absolutely. I think we'll all shit a brick if they're not in the starting lineup.
We will, won't we?
I think you'd already popped that one up, hadn't you? Swap McKennie for Aronson and play Forshaw at DM and McKennie further forward. Matt, I love Cooper, but him being our second best centre back in 2023 shows how bad our recruitment is.
Absolutely.
Very difficult to argue. I think we were all quite excited when we signed a Spanish international and a German international centre back.
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
But yeah, I mean, Verba shows good recruitment and what that does, because I think we spent less on him than the other two. So he's possible.
And he was signed as a left back.
Eddie Leeds got to do the basics: defend, Verba into a midfield 3. So that's a bit of a change to the lineup, but would offer a lot more stability, I think, wouldn't it? And then Canonto, please replace Aronson at the very least from coleslaw on toast.
Somebody's got to. Yeah. It's bizarre. I don't know how he's getting picked every game. I just don't get it.
Smart is still confident. We're going to dick him, lads. No problem.
If not, he'll still be there till the 95th minute clapping him.
It's the one, Smarty boy.
Glenn's not quite so positive as that. Thinks that Leicester could get Esky and Cotty back out and they'd score. Danny's in the comments saying Harvey Barnes 2 and Madison 2. I think Vardy's almost certain to score if he plays, so that's at least 5 goals if they get 2 each.
Is one of our players related to Emil Heskey?
Yes. Is it Matteo Joseph?
Oh, Matteo Joseph.
He's a nephew or a cousin or something. And that's how he can turn. That's how he's in the England setup, because Emil Heskey's his uncle or his cousin or something weird like that. Right. But yeah, I did see that. Leicester will probably get David Nugent back in and he'll score against us. Oh, this is really positive. Right, so
that's like Craig McHale-Smith, who used to score against us every week. Play for different teams.
Oh yeah, and that's one as well. Smart, I'm a season ticket holder, so I'm not a real fan.
We're terrible.
I think I'm the only proper fan left, other than Bren on the pod, aren't I?
I think so.
Proper fan. You're there as often as any season ticket holder. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, but I pay for the nose for it. I pay the match day pricing for it. You get more out of me, the bastards. So that's the Leicester game. Any more comment on Leicester before we move on to Bournemouth?
Let's fuck them
foxes. We've been on nearly an hour and 10 minutes.
I think that result's going to define what happens to us this season. So fucking get out there and do something good. That's all I ask.
Yeah, and everything we're going to say probably going on to Bournemouth will be determined on the back of tomorrow night anyway. So you might as well actually do that after B and C.
Yeah, fair shout. I think just on that, it's Bournemouth as a side. We've talked about, they did beat Spurs, they did beat Fulham. They've had some good results recently. They got beat by Brighton.
They beat Liverpool as well, didn't they?
They were beaten by Brighton, but that's not an embarrassment this season. Brighton have been very good. They got to the semi-final at Cup and the well-placed in league. They're not a pushover at all. De Zerbi's done a real job there. So. I think just in terms of Bournemouth and playing away there. So we've talked about the fact that we need to carry the fight to Leicester. We're at home and we need to get into it. If we get let's say we get 3 points against Leicester, do we go the same approach against Bournemouth and just go and try and get a win, or do we go a little bit more conservative, Luke?
No, absolutely. Bournemouth are worse than us. We've seen that. They're a worse side than us at football this season. They were absolutely shit at our place. They've played all right. They've got some good results.
We only just beat them.
Yeah, I know, but we should have. I know, we went 2-0 down, stupidly though, didn't we?
3-1 at one point. 3-1.
Yeah. So look, they're renowned bottlers. They did it about 3 or 4 weeks on the trot, I think. Spurs and somebody else did it to them as well. Arsenal, I think, or somebody else. So no, absolutely not. If we beat Leicester, we are only 1 point behind them. We go to beat them and put them straight in the battle.
Yeah.
If we win, if we get 4 points from these next 2 games minimum, we stay up.
Okay. I think so.
4 points from the next 2, we stay up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. It's like you say, the whole complexion of everything is going to be one way.
These are our big. This is our biggest. These are our biggest 2 games, even of our season by far. The big one is tomorrow for me. If we win that, I still believe, even if we lost to Bournemouth, I still believe we'd stay up.
I feel the same, you know. I feel like that is the most vital game of our season now.
And I think if you look at the league as it stands at the moment, actually we'd be joint on point to West Ham and Wolves if we win tomorrow. And if you look at Wolves, they've got Palace and Brighton next. Palace have really turned it round. They're playing well. It wasn't just against us. That's not a freak. If you look at their results since Roy took over, they've been playing well.
We'll be on 32 if we win.
No, we'll be on 32.
Yeah, 32. And Bournemouth are on 33.
I got that wrong.
Wolves are on 34.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we are 4 behind them, aren't we? Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, no, so we won't be quite... no, you're right. We won't be quite there. But I think the complexion of that, of the bottom still 7 or 8 can and will almost certainly change several times.
There's so many flips and turns coming over these next 6 games. You'll not believe it. You know, it only takes a couple of wins, and we are right. We'll think we're right out of it. But realistically, in terms of numbers, we're not.
Yeah,
no, not at all. I don't remember a season where it's got to this point and there's been this many permutations of who could go down.
It's mad, isn't it?
You've normally got 2 teams at least that are well cut adrift, and then you've got 2 teams, 3 teams fighting over last place.
But then, you know, one of the reasons for this, usually there's the sides at the bottom of the league that have taken absolute drubbings from all of them taken drubbings from the likes of Chelsea, from the likes of Liverpool, have been abject this season. They've been shite. So the fact that the top of the league have been so poor, you know, the really expensively assembled squads have been poor, and you've seen the likes of Fulham and Brighton taking advantage or looking to take advantage of that. You know, Scum were abject early in season. And I still feel that if we'd have played against them and Forest when the Queen did not do us any favours at all, I think we'd have beaten them both. Because we were in a good patch at the moment, and they were both shit. But yeah, I think if you look at the results, they've been all over the place. Chelsea's still at bottom half at the table. I mean, it's fantastic. I think it's
hilarious,
especially in the Fat Frank. It's even better, isn't it? But genuinely, if they had 6 or 7 points, if they'd brought Fat Frank in a bit earlier, and that's the 6 or 7 points that they got in the run before, I think they'd be in the relegation fight, which is just insane.
That would have been amazing.
£100 million.
Gilly, do you know Eyeball Paul?
Oh, that's out of that film. What is it?
Kevin and Perry.
Kevin and Perry go mad.
I'm no longer your fellow DJ.
I think so much of it does hinge on how we get on against Leicester, but I asked a question of Luke, so I'll come to you next, Karl. And so the same question. If we get the 3 points against Leicester, however they come, if we get the 3 points, do we go to Bournemouth looking to carry the threat, or do we go a bit more cautious?
I genuinely try and bounce off a good result against Leicester and go for it down at Bournemouth. I genuinely would. If there was if we got 3 points tomorrow night, then I'd be of the mentality of going, right, let's build on this. Let's not just, arse around, go down there, try and take something a lot more than a draw away from that game down at Bournemouth if the result is good tomorrow night. I think we have no choice. We have to ride the crest of the wave of a win. We have to try and do something about that. And I think the only thing is to go down and try and win the game rather than sit back and hope for a point.
Okay. No, that's fair. And a different question for you, Jay. Will the cheese actually get
everything?
Will the cheese actually get behind the players this week, or will there be scabs again?
Come again? What? What do you mean? We're always behind the players, mate. We're always behind the players. It's after the game when you tell them what you think if you're unhappy. Not during the game. You got to back them.
Not at that Liverpool game, it won't, mate.
Well, I'll tell you something.
It's tough going at that Liverpool game.
I wouldn't boo or give anyone too much shit other than saying you're fucking useless every now and then if I'm really upset. That's about my limit.
You don't give them any shit except call them fucking useless.
Only occasionally if I'm really upset. But then I'll go back to singing
my melon, man.
But I was just looking at the fixtures after that, and I even though you didn't ask me the question, I'm going to answer it anyway because I thought about it.
I would about to. Go on, you can crack on. It's fine.
I was going to say, we need to go there if we beat Leicester and, go for the fucking throat. We've got to try and start some sort of run. And then I looked at the remaining fixtures and thought, there's no run there.
We ain't getting a run, mate.
We may not win again after Bournemouth. So for me, we have to go balls out. That's it.
Yeah.
It's backs to the wall now, balls out, go for it. There's no other option left.
We've absolutely no idea which Spurs will turn up on last day of season.
We don't.
Genuinely, if we play against them the way that we did against Forest and Liverpool, we might still beat them. They're that bad on occasion.
But you don't want to be relying on it.
But if we turn up and Kane always plays well against us anyway. But if Kane and Son and Kulusevski, if they turn it on, you just don't know which Spurs you're getting. So that's so difficult. If you look at West
Ham and Newcastle, they've all had dodgy results. Newcastle have been pushing for Champions League football.
I mean, they're in it now, aren't they? I think it's theirs to lose now. In terms of whether they're going to finish in top 4, I think they're third at the moment. I think it's theirs to lose. They have done well. I mean, look at what they did to Spurs.
We got the measure of them away. We absolutely bored them to death for a 0-0. You know what I mean?
That really pissed me off as well because all of their fans were complaining about the fact that we slowed the game down, and that's how they've built their success this season. That's been every game for them except the one against us.
I think you never see it when it's right in front of you.
When he goes all season, they've got the best defensive record.
Yeah, so Newcastle, I mean, Man City. They could put out a second string and it's still going to be a glittering array of football stars, isn't it? So that's the one up after Bournemouth, and I think that that's one of those where it's kind of you've got to look after your goal difference more than anything else because that can quickly turn into a riot, and we've seen that in other games recently. The Newcastle one is an interesting one because it will depend a lot on their mentality. I think that one. West Ham's the one for me that we've got a target to try and get a result. I know that it's away. I know that it's in London, but we've got to try and get something out of that. But if you look at what May looks like, just to reflect on the question I've asked you guys, I think we have to go for 6 points in the next 2 games. I think we have to. And I think we have to carry a threat. It's not let's try and eke out a draw and then try and pox a win in the last 10 minutes. I think we have to carry a goal threat. I think we have to get into it and be at it. My concern is I don't think we will be, which is if we go right back to the start of the pod when I asked about it, that's why my head's where it is, because I don't see us having that impetus and having that wherewithal to get forward. So I just any more comments on Bournemouth?
It's a shithole.
Yeah, they're still whinging about 1990.
I don't think I've actually been to Bournemouth as a place.
No, I haven't. I've seen it on the telly.
Seen it on the telly.
I've seen a particular news coverage of Bournemouth.
Bournemouth Beach.
Several times, yeah. But other than that, I don't know much about the place, to be honest. But I think just one last thing from me, and then I'll just invite last comments from you guys. Is we are in the midst. We're almost halfway through a challenge. So Luke and Karl and I and Big Lou and Bren are doing a challenge to fundraise for the Leeds United Foundation, off the back of a rather salacious individual that had been saying that he was doing something but wasn't, and therefore the finances weren't what they should have been. So we're trying to, we are covering that off. Thanks to everybody that's donated so far, but we have already exceeded the target of the other individual. We've gone past that already, and that's fantastic in itself. But yeah, under our own steam, we are making our way to the Spurs Stadium and back to Elland Road by the end of the season. So it started on the 1st of April and it runs to the 28th of May. Luke, how are you feeling about it right now?
I'm all right, mate, to be fair. I thought it'd get easier, but it's not really.
Karl, how are you feeling about it at the moment?
Yeah, it's all right. I'm just fixated on trying to beat my time on the bike every day. That's all I'm looking at. I'm like, just fuck it, Jesus. It's tough going. It's tough going. I'm not gonna lie, it is tough going. But all right, for good cause.
All mine's been walking and running at the minute, and it's difficult trying to find the time.
My biggest day was on Saturday, and I just so happened to be pissed.
Oh, you had a 19-miler one day, didn't you? Some 19 odd miles.
When I went to the other gym. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. In recent days, it's definitely been
walking between pubs
and to a rugby club to drink, and going out on the bike.
At least you're burning it off.
Saying people should be doing.
It's not. It's every time I get on that bike, I expect it just to feel that little bit easier. I should be used to it by now. A little bit fitter. Every time I get on it, it just feels just as hard. And tonight it was freezing, which I've only really been going on the bike when it's quite nice on a nice evening or a nice day or whatever. And tonight it felt bitterly cold. And by the time I got to the gym, I just wanted to go home again. I didn't want to do it. But yeah,
getting like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And to think we're not even halfway yet is a little bit fucking.
We're nearly there. We're really close to it.
Whose idea was it to do 400 miles each? Could we not have done it as a team target? No, fucking mall ahead.
400 miles as a team is bullshit. Nobody.
I think Gilly wanted to do 10,000 steps a day, and I went, hang on a minute. Why don't we go to Spurs and back?
Fuck.
I'll tell you how I'm feeling,
when
Gilly.
you said it, I went, yeah, let's start on the 1st of April, and we took a week not doing it and then started.
I'll tell you how I'm feeling.
Then,
absolutely vindicated.
Mate, I'm smashing it. I'm about 35 miles ahead of target, so
I'd be half dead by now. I'd be aching everywhere and unable to move.
To be fair, Jay, it'd be a lot more steps for you.
Well, it wouldn't if it's going by steps.
It'd be the same amount of steps. He just wouldn't get as far.
Miles,
yeah.
But no, seriously. I mean, it is a charitable thing. We're raising money for a charity, and it is a good cause. And just thank you to everybody that's liked, that's shared, that's encouraged us, and that's given donations. It really, when you have those down days, because sometimes it's really difficult, and you're thinking, "Fucking hell, I just can't be arsed," and then you think, "No, I've got to do it," and you read some of them comments, and you get into it.
That's it.
I thought you were about to say something, Luke.
Oh no, I was going to say, how tall is Jay?
Is it 5'2", 5'3"?
5'8", you cunt.
Oh, we nearly got through. We ever so nearly did it.
Keep catching me out.
So close.
Say that anymore.
What I was going to say was in comparison to Saturday having a really good day. Yesterday, Big Lou did like half a mile or something, and I think I did like 1.01 miles or something, and that was only to going around apologising to all my friends for my behaviour on Saturday.
I was walking around the sitting room while you were on the phone to them. Shit, yeah, about last night, yeah.
Big Lou is my spirit animal in this challenge.
Hey, at least he's getting it done, man. He'll get there. He's put a lot. I know he's put a big shift in today.
Yeah, he has done it. Yeah, he's had a big day today. So no, we're all encouraging each other as well. You know, it's not a competition between us. We're all encouraging each other, but yeah, the encouragement that we get from everybody else that we've seen on Twitter and you know the fundraising and donations and stuff, it's brilliant. Right. Okay. So I'll just spin round you guys then for any last comments, Luke.
Fuck David Smith.
Bears. Karl.
Yeah, I'm with Luke. Fuck David Smith.
Yeah. Nope. Jay, anything original?
Piss off the lot of you.
All right. Okay. Yeah, my phone's about to die, so yeah. Talking to you.
Right. Thanks everybody for getting involved in the comments as well. As ever, you know, it makes it so much easier doing this job when you doing this. You're
not in an interview now, Gilly.
It does make it easier when we're getting the comments going. So we do appreciate you guys as well. So thanks everybody in the comments. Thanks you guys for joining me. And let's go get 6 points out of these bastards.
Yeah, please. Come on. B&C Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Like we said.
At the start.
Good
Cheers,
night.
everyone. See ya.
Bye-bye.